Do you want to start, Karen? Do you want me to start?
You can start, Sharon.
This just came out of a discussion really that Karen and I had, and we were talking. Well, Karen actually picked up, I think, on one of the comments I made about, why can't we just sort of put a whole lot of videos together and see, how we can come together as a group online, and kind of, I think I probably used the term mashup, which is clearly not a doctoral PhD thesis type of word, but we started talking more and more, and we were discussing all kinds of ideas and all kinds of things. And we came upon this notion of capture. And I'm sure you have all seen these horrible challenges that we have when we're coming up, looking for things online. And this notion of you need to click the boxes to be able to go through to the next level to show that you're not a robot. And just doing a little bit of sort of digging, because we kind of know what they are, but I don't know if anybody really knows what it is. And I looked it up, and it said a CAPTCHA stands for, and this is what the anachronism is, a completely automated public Turing test to tell computers and humans apart. So that's what CAPTCHA stands for. The Turing test was created in 1950 by Alan Turing, a British mathematician and considered a founding father of artificial intelligence, to help determine whether a computer can demonstrate intelligent behavior similar to a person. Turing called it the imitation game. Louis von Anhalt developed the modern CAPTCHA as a grad student at Carnegie Mellon University, where he's now a consulting professor. And he later invented reCAPTCHA, which is what Google bought, and that's what they've driven us mad with. reCAPTCHA version 2, the image-based CAPTCHA, is currently the most widely used CAPTCHA scheme to protect web services from automated attacks. Among the main image-based CAPTCHAs, Google's reCAPTCHA version 2 is adopted by millions of websites. Its motto, or its principle, is to create a task that is easy for humans, but hard for bots. Now, I think since I actually found that piece of research, there have been developments in this whole area, and now what they're saying is that actually search engines, and somebody else might want to also tell me that I'm wrong, but search engines are now much more clever in watching our behavior, studying how we're searching for things and clicking on things. So often nowadays we don't actually even come across this image. But if we do come up against there's some sort of uncertainty as to whether we are a bot, then this image may still pop up. And the crazy thing is, and I'm sure we've all come against it, sometimes you click on the things that you are sure are not a bicycle or are a bicycle, or there's no bicycle in this image, for example, and they can drive you a little bit mad. So we've chosen a selection of images, and based on Karen's research and the way in which she's been working with her practice, or more with her practice, we decided it would be fun to put an open call together and to see if we could produce some work based around the notion of this CAPTCHA, or our working title, which is I Am a Human, and see if we could find a way of pooling together, bringing together some work, and some video work in particular, that we could put together for a discussion and might stimulate some ideas. Do you want to go on to read it, Karen? Or I'm happy to read the open call.
Why don't you go ahead, because I'm having trouble with my voice for some reason.
Sure. So this is what we've written. I Am a Human, which is our working title, a Wild Parlour collective event. This is a call for short videos, maximum duration of 1 minute, that respond to the prompt of a specific CAPTCHA image shown above. We propose that each of us within the Wild Parlour Group who wishes to participate submit a video and a short explanatory statement, 200 words maximum, supported by 3 screenshots or JPEGs from your video. We are professional practitioners using a variety of media and exploring diverse concepts through art and design practice, and the aim is to include everyone in a collective artwork that presents our diverse approaches. In the video works, a participant may, for example, choose to highlight the role of the sign in terms of semiotics, which can lead to ideas about drawing in film practice, for example, Karen's practice. Or a participant can highlight a dominant colour or shape they found in the CAPTCHA image, and make a video exploration of the role of a colour or a specific shape in meaning making. Other ways can be found. Although we hope everyone participate in this project with a video, those who cannot may submit a statement, 200 words maximum, and up to 3 still images. And we will include those in the index. To increase the scale of the project, this initial call can be followed when wanted with future calls and other image prompts. However, the main aim is to use the results of this initial call to help present our group to an exhibition or screening spaces for a Wild Parlour show and to look for funding. The resultant collective work can be thought of as a radical documentary, where the interest in each image as the unique result of the participants' practice, but also in the encounter between these images. In this sense, the resultant collective work will describe the capture image through the attributes of the works, each unique to the participant, and the randomized speculative encounters between the works, between how the capture image is conceptualized in each work. This way, the collective work, collection of videos, will present Wild Parlour by describing an experimental process of debate in a way that can be experienced in exhibition spaces and screening rooms. Funding could be sought to create a new platform that facilitates the collection of work online or to facilitate exhibitions or screenings. Although a radical form, this project seeks to position itself as a documentarist in practice-based led research, in that it's an exploratory work that aims to be affordant of a gentle, non-hierarchical economy within the collection that is supported of the open-endedness of meaning-making in art and design practices. The collective work diverges from that of a traditional research journal published off or online, in that it is a move away from text-based publishing and from the familiar and expected orderly progression of chapters and issues. It instead aims to present the unruly diversity of debate and the complexity of cultures, modes of practice, and positions that are drawn on within the Wild Parlour initiatives and discussions and in art and design practice more generally. So what we need from you is, do you want to go down? Your submission will consist of a short video, and the maximum duration is 1 minute. The video should be submitted in a horizontal format, so please be mindful of this. If you're shooting on your iPhone, it needs to be this way, not this way. Aspect ratio of 16:9, 1080p by 1920 pixels. MPEGs 4, all of that, blah, blah, blah. Not 4K, because that will kill everybody's memory on the computer. A short explanatory statement, so 200 words max, about what you've done and why you've done it, how it relates to your practice or the open call. Screenshots, JPEG images from your videos, so that's so we can use them sort of in the index and for any other promotional material. And then, considering the range of capture images and processes discussed in the paper, I'm attaching, you can also choose an additional image, so you can attach a new one if you found one. They're quite actually hard to track down. Or you can indicate from those below, 1 or 2 additional capture images if you wanted to. So we've put a proposed submission deadline of the 28th of April, which is 6 weeks. We can all discuss if that gives us enough time, but we wanted to give it quite a tight deadline so that we could actually get started and we could get some submissions in. So that's what Karen and I would like to put to the group. And thoughts?
Should I go back to the top?
Yeah, sure. So I guess
I'm not sure if I got the proposal right. So we are responding to one of these images you've attached. Is that correct? Or we making our own capture image?
We're making videos that use this idea of I am human, this capture image as a prompt. But we're making videos that are within our practice, so things to do with our practice concerns. but that's not documenting our practice. Like we don't want, say, photographs necessarily of you explaining, you know, like a promotional photograph of you explaining your practice. But it's not about each of us showcasing our works. Instead, you know, which is fine, you know, but this is more about our art practices as sort of a research activity. So as a debate, you know, in order to show our debate, our group, in terms of debate and conversation. And so each of us makes a video, which could be only a few seconds if wanted, or it could be up to a minute. We wanted to keep them quite short. So for an example, say if you use orange in your practice as an important color, you could just do a video on orange, like just showing orange in some kind of way, or stripes, or there's also the shapes of the cones, and there's the stop sign, which is a hexagonal shape, or a sign which is a semiotic, you know, so it can be obscure. It doesn't have to be obvious. It's just a prompt to say, okay, there's something in this image that made me think in my practice of doing this video that's, you know, somehow shows us something in my practice, an element or something I'm thinking about. And then we'll initially we put them just in list form, I think, on our site, the Wild Parlour site. But the idea is that each of us have a little video that shows a concept that's important in itself, that's the thing in itself. So it's something that we're hoping we can put a bit of thought into. And then these concepts are brought into a relationship with other concepts, like, but still in relation to this prompt. And so there's this encounter between different concepts in our group, which is something that we do in our debates. But here we do it in a video, you know, in a sort of a collective presentation of videos.
So in a way, we're sort of giving everybody two ways in, this notion of AI and I am human. You know, as artists, that's such a big topic of debate and something that we've talked about, you know, over the last few months, about this sort of the rise of AI and this online digital world that we're navigating. But we also thought that the visuals were also a way in as well for this notion. So if you're struggling with the notion of I am human from a conceptual point of view, the visuals are also a way to start to think about this open call as well.
And we thought, if you wanted to choose another image that you've come across, or one of these images, then we could use them in a way of keywords. So if this is something that is popular in the group and it works, then we can apply for funding to maybe to get a platform for it as a kind of, and develop a kind of a journal using images. And this is something that's of the moment, because research journals following book format are becoming being rethought. And so this would put us into that area. We can say, okay, we're a discussion debate group, and it would help us, you know, we're also an exhibition group, and we make a journal. It's something that we could keep doing once we started it. And it might also help with exhibition applications, because when we could say, this is what we are, this is our collective work, and it helps explain us a bit more easily. So if we have an image in this kind of collection, and we also do something else, an installation in an exhibition, it kind of the exhibition explains itself a little bit more as a coherence, as a...
Can I share my initial thought? Very interesting proposition, and yes, good starting point. To me, capture images usually make me think what distinguishes human from machine. And I do think is that our thinking capacity, our decision making capacity, the free willing thing that I believe machine hasn't actually heard of yet, unless you are a HAL from Space Odyssey 2001, right? So in my practice, which is very process oriented, I do painting, but I constantly talk to my painting and try to respond the way that it develops. So autonomy in my work is mine versus the work itself as well. And personally, I have a question: isn't it actually me giving the autonomy? Does the work itself have? It's the question that I'm constantly doing. So going back to the format, both video and painting, these are all visual medium that we are using. Personally, I'm not so much a moving image person, but I could also thinking of there are a series of paintings that I'm working on. I can have a three sort of charts of how it's developing, and constantly thinking about this free will thing. To me, that is what makes us human. We are human. We can make decisions. That could be my starting point. So by 2nd of April, see how it goes, and I might be able to produce something. It's 3 images and writing. We'll see. I'll see how it goes with my, current work situation, that sort of thing. So, Karen and Sharyn, am I in the like a reasonable frame of the things that the initial thought coming from? Just
Yes.
to check.
Yeah, you're absolutely included. I think just to Karen's point, it's not it it there. It's a really valid idea and a concept to explore. It's a question of how can you make the video work harder to explore this idea, I guess. So it just have to avoid it being a sales promotion, as Karen said. So, how can how in that video can you be exploring that notion of your paintings? You're in charge, or the paintings are in charge. I don't know. It's something to think about.
Yeah, I think as well that we shouldn't be. I think that's what. Yeah. I think also I wanted to say that I don't know. I think that the deadline is, it's good to have the deadline, but it's also good to think that if you then made something you like better, you can replace it. So it's not like a definitive, this is it and it's going to be there for the next 10 years. It's just, put something in, it's kind of gestural. And then if something else occurs, then you could always replace it. It's not hard to put a new one in the WordPress. And I'm just wondering, thinking and talking, whether we shouldn't share and ask for a link instead. Like if everyone can put their video onto Vimeo and just send us a link. And then you have actual control over your video at this point. And we don't have to worry about keeping it on a hard drive or something, or, an ownership and copyright and that kind of thing. What do you think? So
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
idea. Maybe we'll have a think about the mechanics of it, and perhaps that deadline is a kind of a first discussion group. So whoever's got their videos ready to go, if we had 3 that night or 4 that night, it would be great to put them up in the discussion, and then we can look at them together and discuss and see if there's anything we can see that's coming from putting them side by side, watching them one after the other.
The other thing, we're happy to adjust, for example, the title. Like "I Am Human" is a working title, and yeah, we're happy for any feedback on things that need to be changed or things that could be improved.
Well, I think it's fantastic that you both have got together with this open call suggestion. It's certainly got me thinking. I'm going to have to work hard with this, but a nice challenge, I would say, definitely. I've got to digest this.
Can you just pop us off screen share, Karen?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I think it's a brilliant idea, and I love the title and the context. And as Yasmin just said, that it's it is challenging. I like that, that it makes you think and sort of nudges you on, like, yes. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what all of us bring to the table. It's really fun, and I like the humor in it. There's like that twist, which I love. And thanks so much for coming up with this idea.
I think what we have is so valuable. I think the group together, we have such a back catalogue of information that we've all shared, and we've got so many images that are part of the image bank that Jonathan has been embedding in our heads, and so many concepts, notions, ideas, theorists we've discussed. And I think to try and find a way in which to begin to think about hanging this all together is what we're about. And I mean, there should be lots more of these ideas that come up. And Jaja talking about putting on a group show, and it's like, what format can that take, and how does that look, and how do we bring it all together? That seems like an easy way in for us all to just do something that contributes, but because we're such a greater whole, it will look instantly like it's really considered, and it's a much bigger project from the start. So I think it's important to start to think about working in ways like this and to maximize it as a group.
So, Karen and Sharyn, what do you think? Can we put this in our group email so that someone like me can go back? Oh, this was how it started, and I think it's important to see where we started so that we wouldn't diverge which is probably okay as well. We can go SMS as well, but I think it would be a good sort of connecting point. Yeah. So we just have to keep trying, isn't it? Keep going and see where it leads us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just want to have a quick response. The idea, I am human, I think it's a great idea. I love it because it really kind of fits in the current, topic, the AI and, technology, spreading around whole worlds. And also based on this idea, I was kind of imagined, because my main practice is painting. Because also there's argument about why you still be painting, because like ChatGPT can do even better than me. And actually, I did have some tests as a ChatGPT, and I put some prompts about what I need to do, and I give him the ChatGPT. Let me call him, since I feel like ChatGPT him is like more romantic. I kind of fit him about my images, and also some what I wanted, like a color setting, blah blah, this kind. I also fit him something about what I did in the past for 10 years, like image, and maybe there's how I make this kind of work, and explain. It's a long prompt anyway. Maybe I'm not tech savvy, so that's why I kind of keep repeating, doing the same thing. But in the end, it's come out a really funny image. It's quite decorative. And when you mentioned about this open core idea, actually I was thinking maybe I can just like kind of a screen, like a recording screen about all this process. So that would be interesting how kind of artist, like as a painter, looking for the technological way to survive as a contemporary context of using like art technology.
Perfect.
It is quite interesting because every day is kind of sorry, I have a background noise. Let me move into my study room because my husband is making dinner now. Hold on. Sorry, I forgot what I was supposed to say.
There's one of my ceramic alumni who graduated the year before me, and he's really good at art direction, graphic design, retouching. That's his former skill from his previous life before he became a ceramic sculptor. And he's so good at making these ChatGPT images. He works with the ChatGPT like a collaborator. And whenever he posts any of these images on his Instagram page, everybody's blown away by them. He's put these extraordinary sculptures which look like they're a combination of soft sculpture and hard ceramic, and they're monumental in size, and they're in this huge big display in a gallery or an industrial warehouse space, so they give scale. And everybody's just like, wow, Izzy, that looks amazing. Congratulations, the work looks fantastic, you know. And then when they find out it's not real, they get so upset with him and they get really angry. And so he's considering whether he should or shouldn't do it anymore, because he creates such a sort of, this
like a fantasy.
This response, yeah, and people get really angry. So yeah, I said keep doing it, because it's obviously generating discussion around this whole notion of AI and working as a collaborator. But if you need any tips, he's obviously got really good at it. But he now.
I would love to know. I think it's all about mediating how you put your position, what your stance in current situation, and as an artist. So it's really about mediate. We can't really avoid this kind of technology, but how we position ourselves. This is the question.
And also too, if people are spending all of their time consuming the work online, then that's what it is, right? I mean, if they're willing to go and see his work in a gallery space, that's different. But if they're just consuming his work in that way, in that medium, then I think it's totally valid.
Yeah, yes, and I think maybe this kind of AI generated image is probably is kind of suits for kind of NFT rather than the proper art markets.
I have a few things I want to share. My background is communication. I did a mass media and broadcasting study. And during my lifetime, mass media and broadcasting are disappearing, and we have a lot more social media, podcast, etc., taking over our daily activities. So as I see it, I think it's a trend that we need to be aware and, yes, not ignoring, even though we are not happy or we are
I agree.
not agree with them. So that's the one thing that just came to my mind.
It's a different broadcast media, but it's still a broadcast media. It's just without editorial. There's no editorial control. But a podcast is just like the radio, or, I don't know, Instagram is reaching just millions more people, or YouTube's, but there's just no editorial control. I think that's the difference.
It's caused like information bombast, and we don't have, filter anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We used to have filter. Someone will edit it and select for us, but now we have to choose by ourselves. It's a lot of time consuming actually. To see all this info.
Yeah, there's good things and bad things about that, though, isn't there? Because then it makes me think, but who who do we want to edit what we're hearing and seeing? It's something that's the current debate, isn't it? How do we edit? For example, they've removed controls on Twitter or X and Facebook, haven't they? So there's less editing on those now than there was before, since Trump has come in. And the consensus seems to be that that's not good. But do we want Musk to be the editor, for instance? I mean, who do we want to edit what we? Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it?
It's true, and it's it comes down to fact checking, doesn't it, too? I mean, what's the truth and who decides what that is as well?
Mm-hmm. And then there's free speech. And, yeah, this is the current problem. These are current problems. And it's in part why it's interesting to do a research journal now. Why I'm interested in doing a research journal now. And sort of why I'm thinking about communication in my research. Like, what is it actually? What are we communicating?
And Karen and I were having a debate when we were first thinking of the title, because normally you're clicking on the boxes to say, I am not a robot. And then Karen put the title of I am human, because it's obviously the flip and it's the positive. So it's something to think about as well.
The significance as a human. A urgent question now.
And then but that also connects with problems about sort of a human point of view, isn't it, without taking into account the rest of the world, which so we have to be a bit careful there as well, I think. I think I'm happy to change the title or the prompt, or to try this, like we say, until the deadline, and then have a think about it and whether we should do a different call, make adjustments to the call, and have like a different chapter or something. So we wouldn't like discard what we've done. We maybe just do another version, another iteration. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting, we could do a collective research project together and also make a collective artwork. It's kind of...
Yeah, I like this idea. It's kind of the solid force as a group. Very important. And the Kive is Kive as well.
Yeah, we could, if we have, say, if we respond or a few other people, so if you have a little group of responses, even if it's just 3, then we can have a discussion and even write a paragraph about it, and then adjust the response and see where we can go from there. So the time wouldn't be wasted. I suppose the important thing is that we don't have, an important aspect is that we don't have a lot of time. Everybody's got a lot to do, and so we don't want to, if you put some time into doing it, then it won't be wasted. It'll still be, there, the first iteration. I kind of like that idea myself. So many projects have started and died.
Yeah. I think it should be easy, and it should just be something that you do without thinking too much about it. It shouldn't cause any stress or any extra workload pressure. So, as you say, it's just to get us started, get that conversation started.
Do we have plans for next week? I was just wondering what we're going to do for Wild Parlour next week.
No. Anyone keen on presenting their practice?
I can present on 31st of last day of this month.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I can present my recent work and also correspondent the research progress as well.
So there's the 24th.
No,
You do yours on the
31st.
31st.
31st, the last day of this month, the 31st of March.
Yeah, no, I just meant that. I meant that. So there's still the 24th. So for somebody to do something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any more fancy offline activities?
Anita, would you present about your? I know you wanted to wait for Jonathan to get some feedback, but
Yeah, I would have loved to, but I'm traveling. I will be coming back to London. So yeah, it'll be like I've just come in. So it'll be like a little hectic. So that's why I would have loved to otherwise.
okay. So maybe we can ask the rest of the group if someone else would be keen to present for next week. Well, should we send out? We'll send out the open call and I'll send out a recording of this last part of the presentation, so everyone knows what we discussed.
Okay, that's good.
Oh, just remember, so Karen's part was not recorded, right? Because it was still, okay, got it.
Because she hasn't published yet, so we won't put that up. So you saw it here live.
Pardon me?
They saw it here live.
Yes, that's right. Exclusive. Maybe I'll do another version in the future.
That would be great. So we can put it up line on the archive. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that would be good. And hopefully my voice will not disappear.
And Jonathan will be involved as well.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you for letting me rehearse it. It was a good chance to sort of try and praise it down into a small amount.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a lot. Brilliant. All right. Well, I'll send out all the information for the open call, and we'll see everyone next week.
Thank you so much for doing this. It was great.
We're
Thank
going to
you.
keep it all going.
Great presentation and nice discussion today. I enjoyed it very much. Thank you, Sharon. Organized. And
Thank you so much, Sharon.
And Karen.
thank you, Sharon. Good night.
Have a lovely week.
Good night. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
See you next time.